Hello, this is Mike Matthews, the host of the longest-running self-produced daily podcast by a guy named Mike. It is Mike's Daily Podcast, and it is episode 3005. 3005. Wow. If you did not know this happened in the Bay Area. Perhaps you heard about it where you are. So if you just go east from San Francisco a little bit, you enter an area known as Contra Costa County. And there is a town called Martinez, a nice little town that sits there right on the water, right next to the Benicia Bridge. It's right across the bay, this little place of the bay, the Carquinez Strait is what they call it. And if you follow this strait and this waterway, it'll take you all the way to Sacramento, very many miles inland in the state of California. Well, Martinez sits there. It's a cute little town, but unfortunately, there was an emergency at the Martinez Refining Company, and residents in portions of Martinez, north of the refinery, were asked to shelter in place due to impacts from smoke. They said to go inside, close all windows and doors, turn off all heaters, air conditioners, fans, but it's pretty cold in the Bay Area these days, so the air conditioner wouldn't be on anyway. And if you're not using the fireplace, close the fireplace dampers and vents, and cover cracks around doors and windows with tape or damp towels. Have you heard this before? This was what they were saying to folks in the Bay Area during the fires, when this was about 3 years ago, though, the fires that were happening in more of the inland areas of California, like the Paradise Fire, and that smoke made its way into the Bay Area and just sat there in 2020 when COVID was happening in 2021. And they were saying, hey, you might want to tape up all those cracks that might allow smoke to come in. We will not be doing that at Cafe Anyway. It is not because Cafe Anyway does not actually sit in Contra Costa County. We would be happy to duct tape everything and keep any kind of air to come in, but we're out of duct tape because we used it all on the roof. It's been raining a lot here lately. I've only got so many buckets and pots and pans to catch all that wonderful water. What? All right, let's go into Cafe Anyway after you. Cafe Anyway. Welcome to Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What is it with the cats that if they see a pen on a desk, they gotta flick it off onto the ground? It's their modus.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Operandi. It is Mike here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Maritopica. Malleable is a word I sometimes use when I'm talking about rocks and things, and I've abused that word sometimes. People that are malleable.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
You would think are, somewhat flexible is another term for that, but if you would like to hear the
Daily
podcast accompanied with video, then there's a place on my Facebook page for that. If you go to facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. Oh man, eggs. I just have given up. My lovely lady friend, for her birthday coming up, would love to have one of these Amazon devices that cooks eggs for you, so you don't have to plop them in water, and you get like a soft-boiled egg if you want to, if you're British, and you dip your toast in it because you're British. I watch a lot of British TV shows. I find that they like to do that, and the British also like podcasts that are 2-3 hours long. That ain't this podcast. This is a short one, folks. I ain't gonna yip yap for a whole bunch of time, but I am gonna bring you some interesting things here at Cafe Anyway, because that's what we do here. I'm a manager, and I have to find somebody to fill this position that became vacant recently. So I am interviewing people on Zoom, and one of the people I interviewed was a young kid. He's in college, but oh my gosh, so full of himself, so entitled. And of course, I'm in radio. So I asked him, why do you want to be in radio? He goes, well, I guess you could say I'm an egomaniac. Wow. At least he's honest. That's about 95% of the people.
And here's today's podcast picture
I've worked in radio with are egomaniacs, and the podcast picture is not of me. What was that implied, that I'm an egomaniac too? Well, no, it's a podcast picture from the town of Fremont. They're in the Bay Area, and they've been getting some rain lately. So this is a cool little picture looking towards, so I guess that would be the South Bay, looking towards that area. In a cool, people don't really check out the cool places along the bay. The people that live in the Bay Area, there's some beautiful parks and walkways. See that picture at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And the late great Basil the Boxer and I went through, we went a lot of trails around the Bay Area. Did not go to this particular trail. This is something I found over the weekend. So it's very cool. See it at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. That is my website. And the show is called Mike's Daily Podcast. And so this kid, I'm interviewing him, and he shows up to the Zoom interview in a tank top. All right, so right off the bat, not exactly a great first impression. And then the egomaniac thing. All right, so you're being honest. That's great. I know a lot of people go into radio or television or any kind of influencer wannabe position with an egomania, a big healthy ego, let's just say. And they're maniacal and they got egos. But he just was not very... he knew nothing about the radio stations that I work for. And that's, hey, shouldn't you do a little research about the job you're applying for? He just basically walked in.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
I am bald because I walked into Cafe Anyway and all my hair fell out. No. You never walk into an interview thinking that they owe you a job. I don't know if that for some reason all of a sudden is acceptable, but it is, come on, it's common sense. Now, unless you're Brad Pitt walking into a audition for a movie that you already know you got the role, it's like, why am I here auditioning? I'm Brad Pitt. Eggs. What? Yeah, so eggs are selling over $9 a dozen in some places, probably more where you are. Reasons why include transportation costs and that pesky bird flu. Millions of chickens, over 100 million chickens across 50 states. And I always hear more and more that are called, they're calling the flock, the herd, whatever. It's sad. I know it's hypocritical because who went and bought a Costco chicken recently? Yeah, but still, it's sad. Okay, the Rocky the cat has decided to leave Cafe Anyway. He's going to try and find a chicken and save him, I think is what. Or maybe...
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Maybe up in space, there's an interesting thing happening. Firefly Aerospace Blue Ghost cargo lander launched from Florida recently on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. The lunar lander is expected to make a landing attempt March 2nd and spend up to 2 weeks on the surface. Meanwhile, up in space, the two astronauts still trying to come back to Earth. Danger, Will Robinson, danger, Lost in Space. Did you get that reference? But I think that's also in March, and it'll be on a SpaceX. Elon Xing lately that, hey, I'm going to bring these people back because I wear a Howard Hughes jacket and I no way am like a Howard Hughes in the 21st century. Southern California's housing affordability crisis is only getting worse, with over 12,000 structures burned. There were homes for sale in Santa Barbara and Los Angeles. In fact, my lovely lady friend.
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
That's how I met my lovely lady friend. I was driving by with a Mr. Microphone and said, "Hey, good looking. I'll be back to pick you up later." That never works either. Don't do the thing thinking they owe you a job at the job interview, and don't try and meet somebody that way. It's a little, unless they like that. I guess some people might go, "Oh, that's cute. It's a Mr. Microphone. I remember those when I was a kid." Or maybe they are much too young and don't even know what the heck a Mr. Microphone is. The thing is that my lovely lady friend knew some people that they were going to buy a house near Altadena and it burned down. And they were very, very sad about the house that they didn't even own yet, but it was gone. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Yeah, over 12,000 structures burned, homes that were for sale in Santa Barbara and Los Angeles. So Mark Zuckerberg,
Roller. Oh, wait.
is he at Cafe Anyway?
Anyway.
He might be. Just mentioning you, Mark. He said on another podcast that I won't say his name, but it rhymes with Ro Jogan, that companies need more masculine energy. And then he laid off 5% of his staff, targeting what they considered were their lowest performers, and they're hiring new people to take the job. Meta employed 72,000 people, over that much globally, as of September 30th last year, meaning the cuts would be equivalent to about 3,600 roles. And they haven't been dismissed yet, but they're expected to be notified on February 10th if they're supposed to go. Zuckerberg recently disbanded fact-checking and ending many of its diversity and inclusion efforts. He's also talking about moving operations to Texas from Delaware. I saw that recently. Those moves coincide with his efforts to improve relations with Trump, he provided Mark provided $1 million to the inauguration. And let's see. And so, therefore, their long simmering feud has been cooling down.
Mike is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I got that information from Rob. Except for this part here I got from the wonderful people at Business Insider. Oh, Rob Black, by the way. He talks financial stuff on AM 1220 KDOW in the Bay Area, weekday mornings, and he's on Cron TV in the Bay Area in the 9 o'clock hour, Monday through Thursday. Let's see, they shared a Thanksgiving meal eve, Trump and Zuckerberg. And Trump had previously threatened to jail Mark if he won the 2024 election. So maybe that had something to do with it. Okay, back to Texas. It looks like Governor Greg Abbott, not to be confused with Gregory Abbott, who sang the song, "You Shook My Mind, Girl, I'm gonna shake you down. Oh, well, I can give you all the love that you need. I'm gonna love you." That was a number one hit, I think in 87. But Governor Greg Abbott issued a ban on the use of Chinese-backed artificial intelligence and social media apps that are backed by China on Texas government-issued devices. He did this last Friday. So, he added 6 technologies, which include... It's a trap! He said they think it's a trap. DeepSeek, which caused all those problems last week, because it's this new AI competing against people like ChatGPT and the other, basically all of Silicon Valley, the tech industry in California and elsewhere in America, trying to steal some of the pie, the AI pie, and claiming that they could, with very little amounts of money and storage server space, do all the AI stuff that someone like Microsoft's and all the rest, all the big AI firms, they need lots of electricity, they need a lot of power, they need a lot of server space, they need a lot behind it. And DeepSeek saying, no, we can do it for less money. And Texas is also banning RedNote, which is that app that people are jumping to if TikTok gets banned. And there's some others here: Tiger Brokers, Webull, Lemon 8, and Moo Moo. I'm not exactly up to speed with what all those do. But yes, So Texas will not allow the Chinese Communist Party to infiltrate our state's critical infrastructure through data harvesting, AI, and social media apps. He said,
Mike makes music.
he also said, to achieve that mission, I ordered Texas state agencies to ban Chinese government-based AI and social media apps from all state-issued devices. Okay, outside a cafe anyway, look who's here. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Jolly Sweetheart, Gift Shop Supervisor. That was the most beautiful song I ever heard, Mike Matthews. Did you watch the Grammys? No, I stopped watching the Grammys when I got, let's see, beyond the age of 48, I think. That's right about the time I said, no, I don't care anymore. All the best Grammys happened when I was a kid, when I was young. All the best new artists for the Grammys happened when I was young. You're so, it's hubris. It's nutso. But that's just how it is. It's a young people's thing. If I knew somebody that was nominated, I'd watch. If I was invited to go, I'd go. But still.
What was that all about?
Okay, Mike Matthews, we see where you stand now. Would you like to buy a snow globe? I'm not really in the snow globe purchasing frame of mind at the moment, but thank you. I'm not in that market, but maybe next time. Okay, Mike Matthews, it's great being on this podcast today, and maybe I'm being heard on the radio in Camarillo. Yes. Back in Ventura County, where you were heard on the Santa Fe Cafe for many years. That's right. Shelley Schuhart, the gift shop supervisor. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floor Man. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. All that music that you sing is so catchy, and it makes me want to dance to Gregory Abbott music. Oh, with Chewie, perhaps. Yes. Dancing with the Wookiee. That's a great new song that I should come out with. Okay, well, what do you think about all that? Let us now find out from you. Here's the phone number that you can call.
Call Mike at the Cafe Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and we hear from A-Frame.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
And find out all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast. Next show, we'll have the wonderful Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the brewmaster. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.